Another brick fan with a Harry Potter set. This is the Shrieking Shack in Whomping Willow. This is set 76407. It was released in June 2022. It has 777 pieces, 6 minifigures, and cost about $90 when it was released. This set is a remake of the Shrieking Shack from 2004. It also includes the Whomping Willow, which was kind of a separate set in the past. So the original Shrieking Shack did not come with a Whomping Willow, but there is a newer version of the Whomping Willow that came out with the first wave of the new Harry Potter, I suppose, which is back in 2018. So we'll take a look at a little bit of that comparison here later. So we'll take a quick look at the main builds, which is the Whomping Willow over here, and then the Shrieking Shack, and then we'll take a close look at all of the minifigures. However, I want to start with looking at the 4 tiles or wizard cards that come with this set. First up, this is Godric Gryffindor. He's in this gold background, one of the 4 founders of Hogwarts. This is Saphirina Pickquery. I didn't look up the background on her, but here is another one of the cards. This here, of course, is Bertie Bott, creator of Bertie Bott's Every Flavor Beans. And then finally, this is Severus Snape, of course, one of the professors of Hogwarts. Those are the 4 wizard cards I got with this set. Taking a closer look at some of the other pieces that are built here, this is a small fence build. This could be presumably put in front of the Shrieking Shack, trying to keep people out. And this is the Whomping Willow. And of course, it does spin. Here, as you see, there is a little handle over here. Now, as you can also see, this is kind of on its side, so you can spin these different pieces around. So I thought that was nice that they made it so the branches could move. I thought that was really good. Of course, it'll spin quite well. And then it's kind of on this build with this other rock formation over here. And as you can see, there's like this decoration, this clouds up above. If you spin this around, it does have a spot for a minifigure. So, for example, you can put Professor Lupin in his werewolf form here. This large 2x2, this large 3x3, I would say. It's probably 3x3. Tile here, rounded tile, is made out of that glow-in-the-dark material. So without the light on that, that would glow quite well. I think it's interesting to look at the comparison from the set that came earlier with a different version. I thought it would be interesting to compare this to the Whomping Willow from the Whomping Willow set. So this was from set 75953. This came out in 2018. And again, this is a more vertical Whomping Willow. This one has a little bit more detail, so it's a little taller. The branches are slightly different. The stickers, if you can see, are both pretty much the same. Here for the wood on the trunk of the tree, and both, of course, spin, so those things are different. But where we had all these pipe pieces, these elephant trunks and things, have now been replaced with these plant pieces. So a nice little comparison of how the Whomping Willow has changed over the years. This one I think is a little more accurate because it does have that little space, that gap underneath there, which is where the entrance to that tunnel that led to the Shrieking Shack was. So I think there's good things to say about both models and both versions of the Whomping Willow. So I think overall they turned out nicely. Here is the Shrieking Shack itself. And you can see that it's got 2 stories here. The upper story is kind of offset from the lower story. All the windows are boarded up, which I think was done pretty nicely. Although some of these are stickers. Some of them are the printed wood pieces. There's some stickers here on this little awning that comes over the front door. Yeah, there is a sticker on both sides of the front door to give you that wood effect. And looking around the side, I do like this chimney build. I think that turned out quite nicely. Looking on the inside, let's go down to the main floor first. Looking here on the main floor, you can see there is a chest here. So this is the newer style chest. that came out, I think, last year, 2021. Inside there's a chocolate frog and a goblet. There's a little spot over here, so you can set that by the door. Of course, there's a little lantern here. There's a chair. Over on the side, there's actually a picture, which is difficult to see. But there is a little picture over here in the corner. Done with a sticker, of course. You can see the wood sticker there for the doorway. This wall does open up on the side there, as you can see. So that provides another way to get in and out of the Shrieking Shack. Moving up to the second floor, you can see there's a piano here. It looks like maybe a bed. There is a little fireplace that's boarded up here. Then over in the corner, there is another picture, which kind of looks like a map maybe, possibly of Hogsmeade. You can see some more shutters and things inside here. Another sticker over here in the corner. Up here was another picture, and then there's kind of the inside of the windows. You can see boarded up there. So overall, a pretty nice effect, and actually quite different from the original version of the Shrieking Shack. So let's take a look at that. So here we have set number 4756. This is the Shrieking Shack from 2004. And as you can see, it's not quite as detailed on the outside as this one here. A lot fewer stickers. It is, however, on a turntable here, so you can actually turn the Shrieking Shack around on its base. And you can see the bedroom is a little bit different than it is on the other Shrieking Shack. It's a little more open, so it lets up. So as you can see down here, there's kind of a dining room. There's an opening here. Instead of a chest, they have just an opening on the table, I guess, with another frog inside. Not as much decoration as you can see here. The stairway does open, or the fireplace does open up, so that's kind of the same, where you get an entrance, an alternate entrance kind of to the Shrieking Shack. On the upper floor, of course, there is this bed here, which opens up. If you pull this out, this will actually make someone fall through the bed. So kind of a little action feature there on the inside of the older version of the Shrieking Shack. So as the comparison goes, I mean, I think I like the original one. I think it looks pretty good. The door is boarded over here in this case. The newer version, I think, looks much more detailed. Certainly uses a lot, several different pieces. I do like, the use of these different pieces to make it look like there's icicles and different things dripping off from the snow. So I think that's a little nicer. I do like the sticker on the front door to give it that wood look. So that's also a really nice feature of the new one. But I think it's really good to have both of them because they are very, slightly different takes on the Shrieking Shack itself. Let's go ahead and take a look at the minifigures now. As I mentioned in the intro, this set does come with 7 minifigures. They include Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, Ron Weasley, Sirius Black, Peter Pettigrew, and Remus Lupin, both as a human and as a werewolf. In addition, there is a dog, or a Grim, for Sirius, and the rat for Peter Pettigrew, also known as Scabbers. So here are 3 adults in this. So this is Professor Lupin. You can see he's in a suit, but it does show quite a bit of wear, of course. And then Sirius here is dressed in his Azkaban prisoner outfit. As you know, this was during the Prisoner of Azkaban. And then Peter Pettigrew is also in kind of, these almost look like, it kind of looks like a suit, I suppose. Or maybe he could even be pajamas. It's kind of hard to tell. But again, it's kind of worn down and stuff because he's been pretending to be a rat for so long. You can also see a little scarring there on Lupin's face. And then looks like Peter has kind of the same hair pieces that we see used for Ron Weasley, or slightly different, I suppose. Still that red hair look, though. Looking around the side, no side printing, and then of course, then on the backs of all these figures, you see once again Lupin's suit is certainly patched up and scraped up a little bit. Sirius's prisoner uniform is in the same shape because he's been wearing it for so long, and then those little stripes here on Peter Pettigrew. And then here's Lupin moving in, kind of looks like he's transitioning into a werewolf. See his eyes have changed, those, looks like some fangs maybe developing on his bottom teeth. There's Sirius looking angry, and then Peter Pettigrew kind of looking mischievous, in my opinion. So alternate expressions for all of these characters. Here are our three adults in their animagi form. So of course, Professor Lupin as a werewolf, and you see he's not wearing a shirt. You can see some hair and stuff on his chest here, done all in this brown coloring. The wolf's head looks really good. And if you look down, the legs are actually different. They kind of go back and they narrow down. So not normal minifigure legs. Here, of course, is the dog or Grim that represents Sirius Black. And of course, Scabbers or Peter Pettigrew in his rat form. And there is an actual little bald spot right on his top of his head, which is kind of was a signature for Peter Pettigrew, although the minifigure wig does not represent that. There's the face for our rat, and then you can see the back of Lupin here in his werewolf form. Now the top, there is no minifigure head. It's just this wolf's head just is one molded piece, but you do see the fur and maybe some exposed bone and stuff. I remember in the movie, at least, he was a very thin werewolf. The big black dog, of course, with the yellow eyes. You see a little bit of fur there. So three very nice animal figures for our three animagi. Next up, we have Harry, Ron, and Hermione. And of course, Harry and Hermione both have quite a bit of mud on them. So they had been out and about all night that evening, both, kind of first capturing Peter and then losing him, of course, and then going back in time after the time turner was used. All of them have the mid legs, which are one stud shorter than the regular minifigure legs, although they do bend at the waist as opposed to the short legs, which are actually shorter and don't move at all. Ron's in a red sweater here, Hermione in the pink jacket that's all muddy, and then Harry's wearing kind of that traditional dark blue with the shirt. Seen that kind of same look on him many times, although this one does have the mud stains on it. You can see there's that little part on his hairpiece that allows you to see the scar on his forehead. Kind of if you look on this angle here. Moving around these figures. No side printing, but all of them have just a little bit of back printing. So once again, Harry's got some mud back here on the back of his jacket. Does have a alternate expression. It's a little bit more of a stern face. Same with Ron, and then Hermione also. And then Hermione also has kind of an angry face as well. And you see her jacket does have a hood. And then, like I said, there's a little bit of mud staining on that here in the back. Now that we've looked at all of our minifigures, let's go back and I'll give you my final thoughts on this set. Overall, a very nice set. I think these two pieces, kind of the two separate builds of the Whomping Willow and the Shrieking Shack itself, are a good combination, as the Whomping Willow did guard the secret tunnel to the Shrieking Shack. Having all three of the characters, the animagi who kind of bonded together. So Lupin, of course, being the werewolf, and then Sirius Black and Peter Pettigrew, who turned into animagi just to help when Sirius had a problem turning into a werewolf. So having those extra, the rat and the dog were good things to have. You get a good selection of really 7 minifigures because you do get the werewolf, which has those different legs, as I pointed out where we were looking at earlier. In the past, the werewolf was just a werewolf head that went on top of Lupin's minifigure. So it's nice to get a completely separate werewolf figure. As far as value for this set, it comes in at about 11 or 12 cents as price per piece, which is higher than that 10-cent baseline I use. However, being a Harry Potter set, I expect it to be a little bit more expensive, and with 7 minifigures and a total cost of under $100, I think that's still a pretty good value. I think the sets here in 2022 have had pretty good value on the Harry Potter side. So nice value. There are good play features in here. I mean, obviously you can go in and out of the Shrieking Shack there. You can have the different characters either in their animal form or their regular human form. Of course, we get the big three of Ron, Hermione, and Harry. And all of these figures are quite well done. A little bit of action feature, of course, with the Whomping Willow. So it does do some spinning, and then that little full moon there where you can have Lupin turn into a werewolf. Overall, a very fine addition to the Harry Potter collection. If you like the Harry Potter themed sets, hope you've enjoyed my thoughts on this Harry Potter set. I'm going to get started on my next video. And until then, happy building. If you enjoyed this video, help me out and hit that like button. Please subscribe to see more of my LEGO reviews. I've left a link to my Harry Potter review playlist up here on the screen.